Hello, hello, hello. It's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. It's Wednesday Night Live. Catherine, first one in. You sure are. Debbie Sue was second. That's great. How are y'all? Y'all had a good week? Well, it's hump day. Hump day's almost over. Hi, Miss M. How are you doing? Yep. Kelly's here. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for joining. You're okay? Well, that's good. I'm good today. I've had a pretty decent day. It thunderstormed earlier. It was raining so hard. It was so loud in my office, couldn't hardly hear. So everyone's saying hello. Hi, Philip. How are you doing? Thanks for hopping in. So, like I said, it's just been raining off and on all afternoon, but it came a really heavy rain with hail and a thunderstorm. And hi, Mike. How are you doing, Mike? Thanks. You're talking about my little office, my YouTubicle, I call it. Yeah, it's raining in Arkansas. Yeah, so everyone's saying hello to each other, and it's been a good week. I went on my ladies' retreat this weekend, and we had a great time. It's always great to kind of get a refresh, and that's what prompted this topic today. We'll talk about it. Spiritual consent. I'd never heard of that. Now I have, because I went to a workshop on it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Oh, hello, Mrs. G. Take my. Can y'all still hear me? Take my earpod. My sound works better with not being on my uh, earbud. So, work play. So, how are you doing, Mrs. G? Okay, Miss M, thanks. Um, yeah, so I had a great time. I rode with two ladies from here down there, and it's about 3 hours south of here. And then there was four other women from here that went. So we went to Lake Brownwood, and there were 221 women at this ladies' retreat. So it was very nice. Hi, Miss Cheryl, my twin sister, Miss Cheryl. Miss G gets us confused because of Cheryl's name. Is in the chat. It starts with an R, and she sees that R, and she thinks Rhonda. Is work play live? What? Yes, work play live is here. Hi, welcome in. So good group here. Mike, how are you doing? So another trip to the ER. That's you're good. 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 I feel a little out of the loop. You getting ready to go out of town, and then we left Friday fairly early, and just I was gone all weekend and got home Sunday night and tired, and so I've just been a little out of the loop. I know, Miss G. Oh well, it's a compliment to me. I hope it is to Cheryl. Oh, but and since I've cut bangs, of course they've grown out so fast. I forgot how fast my hair grows. I'm kind of sweeping them to the side because they get in my eyes, and so. Um, but I went on this retreat. It's a spiritual retreat for women, and we there was a speaker Friday night, and a speaker Saturday night, and Then on Saturday, they have workshops, and I went to 4 workshops. And if Evie comes in, I have to talk about Evie. She inspired me this weekend because I went to the last workshop was fun and crafts and stuff, and they had us paint a self portrait, and so um, yeah, this kind of weather is sleeping weather, the rain and all of that. Miss G said, "Em, I hope you're doing good today." She said she was okay. Okay's okay, you know. It's okay to just be okay, and but it was the other workshops. It's 10 a.m. in Australia. You're still in bed. Oh, that's great, Philip. Yes, the time difference, and um, it's almost like everything's opposite. Hi, Pam. No, I haven't really talked about the retreat already. I've talked a little bit about it. I explained it's a spiritual retreat. There were 221 women there, and I went to 4 workshops. I went to a workshop called Freedom from Bondage, and then I went to a forgiveness workshop, and then I went to one that was titled Spiritual Consent. And I went because I was kind of curious. I just never had quite heard that, and done a little research on that, what they talked about, took some notes, and I thought that would be a good topic for tonight because it was a concept I hadn't heard too much about. So Mrs. G said, just nodded off, Catherine, with my phone in my hand, then woke up to see Rhonda live. Yay! And so we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk a little bit. Um, oh, no, Miss M, you threw out your back. You're not old enough to, you know. What's the joke? I know I'm getting old because my back goes out more than I do. So, oh, uh, anyway, I went to this yes, the heating pad. You gotta drag out the heating pad and the topical cream and all that stuff. So uh the ailments we have. So everyone's still saying hello to each other, and then I'm gonna talk about this. Miss M said, I know it was hurting for a couple of days, but today when I turned it, took my breath away. It does, doesn't it? It really does. I'm sorry. That's tough. And so, um, so everyone's it. It's 3 hours south of here, and it's on a lake, and we were at the 4-H encampment, which is a really nice camp, and the accommodations are nice, and we slept in bunk beds, but no one had to sleep on the top, thank goodness. Um, it's like I got up here and I can't get down. That would be the way that would be. I think I could get up and I could get down. It's too much of a risk. I wouldn't want to do that. Pam said, hi, Mrs. G, W. Sue, Miss M, Catherine, and Cheryl, too. It's a party in here. It is. Oh, you feel 40 now, Miss M? Yeah. Miss G said, yes, Pam, party over here. And so, yes, we never know what we're going to talk about. I do try to have a topic, but it goes where it goes. Isn't that true, Mrs. G? And sometimes you just can't control it. So, yeah, I don't know, one afternoon we singing the Mr. Hanky song. So, what can I say? It's just all part of having fun. I did laugh a lot. We did laugh a lot, which is spiritual in its own way. Oh, Cheryl said she's going to start singing songs about parties. Mrs. G said topics never work out for me. Well, it's still kind of good to have some sort. I feel more comfortable if I have a topic. I could probably wing it. I think every counseling session I'm in with a client, I'm winging it because I never know where it's going to go or what they're going to need help with, or so I could wing it live for an hour. So it's not that big a deal, but I kind of like to have a topic. And so my topic tonight is spiritual consent. And like I said, this was a concept I'd never heard of before. And so I'm going to read what what spiritual consent is. Spiritual consent is the active, conscious, and voluntary acceptance of divine presence, action, and the unfolding of life's experiences. It involves letting go of control, embracing one's own goodness, and trusting in a higher power, often described as a radical yes to reality in both contemplative and daily life. It's rooted in your mind and heart. So that is, the description. In the way they said a lot of times that this spiritual consent works is like, say, I've got something on my heart and I go to another person and I share what's on my heart with them. I am giving them spiritual consent to interact with me, and they share their stuff back. And it's this spiritual consent. And it's almost like you have this mindset, and the two people consent to connect spiritually. And I think that was a cool concept. Hello, Paula. I'm glad you're feeling better. So, everyone's saying hello to Paula. So, Cheryl, you get it now. And so it's kind of like I'll do it in layman's terms, Cheryl. The God in me connects to the God in you. And that's spiritual consent. And there's 4 consents. Consent to the presence and action of God and Spirit in one's life. And then consent to the basic, number 2, consent to the basic goodness of our own being, that we are good. I know that me on my own, I'm not, but me plus Jesus is a 10. He's a 1, I'm a 0, put us together, we're 10. Every time. Every time, child. And then the 3rd consent to the dominion of self, letting go of ego and physical decline. And then the 4th consent is the consent to be transformed. And isn't that what happens whenever we have that reckoning, with God? When we consent to be transformed, aren't we transformed? And then, as little baby Christians, we have to grow. And to do that, you have to consent to transform. You have to have some skin in the game, and it's to be done daily. It's not a one and done. It says, take up your cross daily and follow me. It doesn't say just take it up and go. So it's kind of a in the way that they use the analogy of connecting with another person, and I think that oftentimes it's done on here, through ways that people talk about their faith on YouTube, and or they read scripture or share their spiritual side. Sally D in the morning. Yvonne has her daily affirmations. Cheryl talks openly. Pam does. Paula, Mrs. G, Philip. I believe in God of the Bible, and that's we share that on here. We are giving spiritual consent publicly, and that's kind of the way that they use this um, concept. So anyway, Miss M said, Catherine, here's a question mark for you. And Catherine said, Miss M. Work Play Live says, hail, Miss Paula. Miss Paula is here. No exclamation mark for me. So, Rhonda, what God do you believe in? I believe in the God of the Bible. I'm a Christian, and I've been a Christian since I was 8 years old. I was raised Southern Baptist. I have had to do a little recovery from that, but that's what I believe. And if you listen to my videos, I use scripture, and I will talk about that. I'm not in one bit ashamed to talk about that. So, inside chat joke, I'm over it now. Catherine said, I was raised Southern Baptist too. I joke I was a drugged Baptist. I was drugged to the Baptist church every time the doors were open. And, I had good, strong Christian parents, and they didn't cram it down our throats. They just lived it. And my dad was a deacon, and my mom taught Sunday school, and we were at church every time the doors were open. So, I and through some events that happened to me in my life, and I thought that for sure God didn't love me, and I was going to hell, and I didn't grasp the belief that I was saved by grace, that I somehow thought I had to earn it. And whenever I got into recovery, I really questioned a lot of that, and I went back and what I knew about the Bible and what I knew that I had learned, I began to form my own belief about all of that instead of what religion had told me or what other people had told me. I read and learned for myself. And anyway, Pam said, I was raised Baptist, but it's a bit of a different denomination up here. My mom led the ladies group and taught Sunday school. My dad was on the board. Kind of the same thing, It was, my dad was a deacon in the First Baptist Church of Morrow, Oklahoma for all his life. And and I tell you, it was, we think about death, and my dad was almost 90 years old, 2 weeks from being 90. And I was there with him, and we were, we knew he was close. And the pastor finally arrived, and he prayed, and I just told my dad, go and be with Jesus, and he did. I told the pastor, I said, he was just waiting for you to come pray over him. And but that, that type of belief is just, it's inherently in me. Anyway, I don't know where I went with that. That's so Pam said, when we serve the church, we serve the church. Amen. That's right, we did. Traveling Traveling Whitcombs. Hello, welcome in. Miss M said, I'm raised Baptist as well. The church was at, I was at, sadly, that I was at for years, was judgmental and whispered a lot. And that happens. The church is full of a bunch of sinners. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So that Pam, I went through a time of making faith my own, and now, believe it or not, I go to the same church. Yeah, yeah, Catherine, I didn't really get saved or accepted the Lord until after I left that church, started going to non-denominational church. I finally understood. Yes, yes. And I know today that because of the trauma in childhood that interrupted my spiritual growth. Your pastor rebuked the church for gossip. Yes, gossip is so detrimental to a church or any organization, whether it's the community on YouTube or the Lions Club or anything. Gossip. It's just. Catherine said, Philip, good. I think so. Anyway, so um, true spiritual consent is active, empowered, yes, not a passive, weak surrender. And that's, we talked about that, the empowered yes. And that's kind of, I don't know, like, with Pam talking about, I served, as an adult. I continued to go to church. I taught Sunday school for 14 years, worked with the youth at church. And it got to where I, because I didn't have any boundaries and couldn't say no, I just did too much, was over responsible and all of that. And I got to where I resented it. And so I was serving God through obligation and not through joy and service. And today I serve God through joy and service, not out of obligation. So it's it's what's in your heart. That's the way I feel. So Miss M said, luckily I go to a different church. I go with my grandma. I love her church. And that's great. If you don't think you go to the greatest church, change churches, because that's, it's, and that is what, to me, it is you go to serve out of love and not obligation. Mike said, yes. Catherine, Miss M, yes, gotta love where you go or find someplace else. True. Paula's saying hi to Mike. So there's a couple of more statements that letting go of personal ego. And to me, the word ego stands for easing God out. Driven desires in favor of a higher spiritual purpose. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. It becomes a higher spiritual purpose. And that I don't serve others to seek approval or that sort of thing. I do it because I feel like it's what God wants me to do, and that shifts me from a state of ego to a state of service. Hey Mike, great to see you again, friend. I'll have to check you traveling Whitcombs out. What's your channel about? Cheryl said, I'm looking for a new church. My pastor moved 4 hours away. Traveling said, hey, Mrs. Paula, wonderful to see you again. Miss Paula's got some hearts up there. And Debbie Sue saying hello to the traveling Whitcombs. So what is your channel about? Traveling Whitcombs. Am I saying that right? What's y'all's channel about? Traveling. So do y'all travel? You have an RV? What, camping? I have an RV. We do a lot of going out. We've had the RV for 3 years now. Used to tent camp. I like to tent camping, but I got too old to. I had the whole cook shack and all that, but it's just too hard to set all that stuff up. We still take my cook shack, and I have a chuck box and cook stove and all the stuff. And we still take some of that, even with the RV, because I really like being outside and I'll cook outside. So um, that's, man, that's my favorite thing to do. We have a trip planned in September. We're going, my son's getting married, where we always go on family vacation where we go camping and fishing. And so we're going the week before, and we're just going to have a big old family bash at the creek. So, uh, traveling Whitcombs. We're travel vloggers. We have 3 young kiddos, and we're trying to share our adventure and experiences. I have to check out your channel. I think I've seen your name before. We try to give our kiddos experiences over other material things. Cheryl said, wow, sounds like a great channel. Miss M said, nice. Mrs. G said, very nice traveling. Catherine said, traveling and a beagle, right? I read that much. That's great. That's great. When I think back on my childhood, I don't remember what my parents gave me materialistically, but I remember all those camping trips and vacations we went on. Those are the experiences. I remember the holidays and how we gathered around, and I couldn't tell you what I got for Christmas, but I could tell you about my Christmases. And so that's one of the things I think they instilled in me, is that you can go on a vacation, and you can um, have experiences, and not have to have a lot of money to do that, which um, anyway, um, I don't know if I can click on your name, go to channel. There you are. Okay, I'm going to check y'all out when this is over, so I can do that. Let's see. M said, it does sound like a great channel. Traveling. Yes, Catherine, he's a beagle and a hound mix. He's our travel buddy. And Traveling said, thank you, everyone, for the kind words. Mrs. G, hi there. Great to see you. And Catherine said, travel cool. I'll check y'all out, too. Davy Sue said, traveling with Combs is awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. Mrs. G said, traveling with Combs, I think I've seen your family in Missouri. That's where we go. We go to Roaring River, Missouri. Um, my parents took us there when we were kids, and we started going back. And yeah, Philip said, I love to go camping in the bush. Just got to worry about the spiders and the snakes. Yeah, Philip, y'all got some bad stuff there. Some animals farming. So Traveling said, really, Mrs. G, we live in Wisconsin, but I'm originally from Missouri, and we were visiting recently. That's cool. Do you know where Roaring River is? So Mrs. G said, no, I mean your videos. Oh. So, yeah, Roaring River is the #1 state park in Missouri. And we go there and catch trout. And I'm quite the fisherwoman. If you want to, I have, they're in my, what do you call them? Playlist. I have a playlist of last year. I vlogged my vacation. And so anyway, Mrs. G said, I've never been to Missouri. I'd love to go someday. It's beautiful there. Cheryl said, that's how I travel. I watch videos of other people. So traveling said, oh, okay, Mrs. G, I understand. LOL. So yeah, camping and being outside and grubbing around and catching fish. I can do my own hooking up the gear and the fishing pole. I can catch the fish. I can clean them and I can cook them up. So I had two brothers, and I've always, you know, done my own fishing stuff. Okay, traveling said, I've never been, but I know of that state park. We were just visiting the Ozark National Scenic Riverway in Missouri. Yeah, but it's all beautiful. Missouri, Arkansas is beautiful too. I lived in Arkansas for um, 2.5 years. We used to go to Lake Washita and around the area, I guess, where the YouTubers, Washita Mountain, whatever. Oh, y'all, Mike and you are basically neighbors. That's great. Miss M said, I enjoy watching people go to different places. Right now, I'm watching a guy camping in Alaska. Now, I don't know. I watch Jennifer from Alaska, and I don't know. That's a cold place. I don't like to be cold. Travis says, I can't type tonight. Must be tired. Mrs. G said, Miss M, I'll go all over the world on YouTube. Yep, we sure can. We can camp with Mike during his work week. He camps out every week, at work. That's kind of rough camping, you know. So the weather gets warm and we'll get to see him do some weekend stuff out of his camper. So that'll be something enjoyable instead of just camping at work. I've camped at work before, but not in a tent. It's because I was on call all the time. Uh, Cheryl said, "You all are night owls. It's my bedtime, 8:30." Mrs. G said, "Rhonda, why didn't you bring us along with you on your trip? On my ladies' trip? Is that what you're talking about, Mrs. G?" Charming said, Mike and I are eventually going to do something together if the weather would warm up. Y'all had a rough winter. So, Catherine said, Cheryl, 9 is my hubby's bedtime. Well, I go to bed and watch TV for a little while, and the earliest I might go to bed is 8, but I lay in the bed. I don't usually go to sleep till 10, but most of the time it's around 9 o'clock. And of course, it's just 7:30 here, Cheryl. On my ladies' retreat trip, well, you should have come on down. I'd have taken you. It was 70 degrees today. That's nice, Mike. That's nice. It probably feels like it's a heat wave. Uh, Pam said, can you believe it's been snowing again all day? I refuse to shovel. It's a matter of principle. Oh my goodness, Pam. Snowing. 70 in Minnesota. Cool. Yeah. Mrs. Paul said, Pam, snow. Miss M, maybe Rhonda did something that she didn't want us to see, Mrs. G. No, not really. I just, you know, I took a few pictures, but they won't be posted on anything. So, says Mrs. G said, OMG, y'all are like chickens going to bed this early. What time do you get up, Cheryl? What time do you get up? You get up early, don't you? Pam said, yes, Paula, send help. We'll send somebody to shovel your drive, Pam. sure we could find somebody on YouTube. 5:15. Yeah. See, I get up about 6 o'clock. Catherine said, Mrs. G, I stay up till 10ish. I go to sleep at 10. I turn everything off and off. I've, and I didn't think, somebody says, you can train yourself. You can set your, what is it, Arcadia rhythm or whatever it is. You can do that. And I didn't believe them, but I tried it. And it's true because, 10 o'clock, I shut the TV off and bam, I'm asleep. 6 o'clock, my eyes pop open. 8 hours sleep. Mrs. G said 11 is my earliest to go to bed. Well, what time do you get up, Mrs. G? Traveling said, I'm a night shifter, so I stay up late. We don't sleep much anyways. We have a teething 7-month-old. Oh, I forgot what that's like. 7, yeah. That's about right. 11 to 7, same hours I sleep. I just get up early. Pam said, I go to sleep about 10 these days and then wake up at 12:30, again at 2, then stay awake till 4, alarm at 6. It's a mess. I need to do something. Well, I worked on that. Pam, I would wake up at 3, just bam, and I couldn't go back to sleep until it would be 4:30 or almost 5, and then I was draggy all day. And because I'd wake up and my brain would kick in because I got one of them whirly bird brains. And I started counting backwards to interrupt that thought. I would get up, I'd wake up, so I'd go to the bathroom and I'd come back to bed, and immediately 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I would fall asleep. And I stopped waking up at 3 o'clock. So, because what I had read about, what I'd studied about sleep is that you can train yourself, with sleep. It takes work, but it also takes making sure your anxiety is lowered. And because anxiety heightens histamines and cortisol, and both of those can interrupt your sleep. So let me see. I saw Lori pop in here. Miss M said, I go to bed either at 9 or 10, but don't fall asleep for a long time because my mind doesn't want to shut off. See, and that's the whirly bird brain. I used to joke that I had a hamster wheel in my head, but it turned so fast the hamster died. So 11's my earliest to go to bed. Traveling said, I'm a night shifter, so I stay up late. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Pam, I go to sleep about 10. I read that one. Cheryl gets up early and starts bouncing. She's a bouncy girl. There's Lori. Hi, Lori. How are you today? So Miss Paula said hi. Miss M said hats off to you traveling. Yeah. I forgot. I wouldn't even know what that. Well, I have dogs. Every once in a while, I have to get up with my dogs because one of them's sick, or I'm always like, oh, that's why you young folks have kids. You have kids when you're young. God knew what he was doing. Cut that stuff off for us women. No, Catherine said, I drink chamomile tea or sleepy time. No caffeine for 4 hours before. I don't drink caffeine. I drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and I don't usually drink any caffeine the rest of the day. Now, the second one, especially if I take it to work, I might drink on it till noon, but it's still just 2 cups of coffee. Miss M said, I've always had problems with my sleep schedule. Probably because of your hormones, Miss M. If you have trouble with, I always did too. And I realized today it was my anxiety. And when, I got, I don't know, recovery and working on that and stop worrying, because most of the stuff I worried about was stuff I couldn't control anyway. And so, Pam Pam said, thanks for the advice, Rhonda. So traveling, thank you, Miss M. You're very kind. Philip said, did they have good food at the retreat? They did. Um, we had taco salad one night, with the taco bowl, and then for lunch one day they had all different kind of salads. And we had, what else did we have? We had grilled chicken. It was pretty healthy food too. I didn't eat any of the desserts. I was so proud of myself. I passed them right up because I knew that if I ate that sugary stuff, I'd be limping around with all that inflammation. So Miss M said, me, I add extra espresso to my coffee. Ugh. Cheryl's out. She must be out. Going to bed. God bless you all. Good night, Cheryl. Sleep tight. So Lori said, hi, Cheryl and Miss M. Miss M said, good night, Cheryl. Hey, Lori. I'm proud of you, Rhonda. Thank you, Miss M. I just didn't even, I would be like here and the desserts are down there and they're getting their desserts and I would just get my tray and walk on out because I was like, I'm not eating sugar. I did eat more carbs than I usually eat, but I think I did pretty good. And so, but there was some good food, and then they had cookies for snacks, and I didn't even go in there, just not even go in there. Hi, Gary. Belt Loop 29's in the house. How are you doing? So, but it was a good weekend, and the workshops I went to were really good. So, heard a couple of really good speakers. One of them I'd heard before. So just working, huh? Yeah, just working. Well, I worked today, so um, that's yeah. And I'm gonna, I think, add a few hours on Tuesday because they have some. I'm credentialed to take VA benefits, and they need someone to see VA clients, and they asked me several times about taking a few on Tuesday, and you know, I think it's because they're veterans. I really think, I agreed to go in to see 4 people on Tuesday. So, Miss M got her hair done today. What'd they do to it, Miss M? Belt Loop said, not a hard day at all, only 8 hours. Belt Loop said, thank you for your services. My father just got out of the VA. Yeah. Well, I guess, we have a small satellite VA place here, so there's no counselors here or any of that sort of stuff. And since I am credentialed to take VA benefits, I'm one of the few there where I work. So I was not in the service. No. My first husband was. You got it dyed a blue black? Ooh, I bet that's cool. You're getting gray hair at the front, Miss M. Miss M. I quit fighting them gray hair. It was like, I'm done. I'm done. Gonna let it grow out. I mean, girls were coloring their hair, making it my color. I thought, what am I doing here? So cool. So providing services to Jill, great. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Lori said, I know I missed it, so you don't have to repeat it, but did you get what you were hoping for from the retreat? And more, Lori. I really did. It was really very good. I was talking about one of the workshops I went to was this on spiritual consent, and it talks about the 4 consents of spiritual consent. One's the consent to the presence and action of God and Spirit in one's own life. 2, consent to the basic goodness of our own being. Consent to the, I don't know if I wrote this word down right. Diminution of self, which is letting go of ego and physical decline. And number 4 is consent to be transformed. In the workshop I was in, they used it as one of the ways that you give spiritual consent is if you've got something on your heart and you go and talk to another person, that you're really giving them spiritual consent to listen to what's on your heart. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Miss M said, yes, flipping 29 years old. Oh, belt loop. Yes, she's 29, and that's your number. 29 is your number. Miss M, belt loop, my natural hair color is black, so I add a very dark blue to my hair. Ooh, I bet that's pretty. Belt loop said, some folks say I'm obsessed with the number 29. I just noticed it. That's different. Interesting. Yep. Miss M's 29. So we're not considered senior until we turn 65, Miss M. So Philip's asking, do you live in a big city, Miss M? Philip said, I'm not there yet. You're not at 29? Hey, Red's Room TV. Hey, welcome in. Did you bring the fun? Did you bring the drinks? You're not at 65 yet? So everyone's saying hello. Miss M, I live out in the country. Debbie Sue saying hello to Red. Always, he said. He's bringing the fun and the drinks. So everyone's saying hello to Red. Red's room. I was over Miss G's live, and she couldn't control him. Well, if you put blue on black, she has blue-black hair, which is it's so pretty. It's such a pretty. Actually, just ginger shots now. You're drinking ginger shots. I'm drinking Metamucil. Anyway, health changes. Yeah. We got to take care of our health. Yep. Blue on Black by Five Finer Death Punch. Yep. Bye, Miss Pam. She says, I need to duck out a little early, Rhonda. Apparently this snow isn't going to shovel itself. Red, why don't you get up there and go shovel Pam's snow? That'll be good for your health. Yes, their version comes to mind first. Oh, you tried that too. Just don't like the powder feeling. Pam said drinking Metamucil. Yeah, you get my age. I'm a woman of a particular age plus a whole bunch. You've had enough snow? You live up north, Red? Miss M said, belt loop, I'm Mexican, so my hair is black, and any drop of color my hair takes very well. Oh, Pam said, I don't know what's happening up here. Spring missed us. No more snow. Red, did you get more snow today too? Like Pam? We've already had one day here that was 99 degrees. Now it cooled back off. It's hitting around the 80s now. So Red, are you in Canada too? Belu says snow ain't exactly a thing around here. Me neither. Not here. It's not here. So, but it has definitely snowed a lot this year. And it says, I would have gone into Mrs. G's life, but something tragic happened. So, Red said, hell no, I don't know, but all this snow has got to go. Well, Mike said it was 70 degrees in Minnesota today. So um, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Oh, Missy, I'm spouting that spinach. That's what my son used to call it. That's Spanish. I know just enough to mess it up. I do know probably the most words I know are in Arabic. So, Mafi Mushkila. So, oh, now they're talking. What's the topic tonight? I'm talking about spiritual consent, Red. So, spiritual consent is the active, conscious, and voluntary acceptance of divine presence, action, and the unfolding of life's experiences. It involves letting go of control, embracing one's own goodness, and trusting in a higher power, often described as a radical yes to reality in both contemplative and daily life, rooted in mind and heart. So, that's what spiritual consent is. And we talked about it. So, and we're on to other stuff. So, oh, now they're talking Spanish back and forth. Mike said, "Sup, yo, sup, Miss M, belt loop. I am still learning Spanish. I'm adopted, so I took a DNA test." Red said, "Rhonda, you lost me after the first two words." Okay, well, I'd never heard of it. It was a foreign concept to me, and I went to a workshop this weekend. So you don't, Red, we don't name call here. You don't call my friend dumb. Don't you do it. I don't, nope, nope, nope. I don't think you are at all because I see you do all that tech stuff, and anyone that can do all of that is smart. So I'll get off my soapbox. I got the neck going. Miss G's got my neck going. So, Catherine said, I want to learn Spanish. Tried Rosetta Stone. You learn with pictures. Didn't like it. Justin, good day, mate. What you doing? It's morning there. No, Miss M. Don't say that. That's negative self-talk. Even joking around. I don't even like people to joke around about negative stuff toward themselves. Yeah. Belliff said, if you want to learn Spanish, go to Mexico for a month. Yeah, my son did that. He went to Mexico as an exchange student to trade off for his college credits for Spanish. He already could speak Spanish. That was part of the problem. He could never pass Spanish in school, but he could speak it. And so he went to Mexico as an exchange student. He's fluent in Spanish. So if you want to learn Spanish, you can grow your vocabulary easy. I and being from Texas, a lot of people speak Spanish here. So Red said that's how I swim like a rock. We talked about that in Mrs. G's life. All y'all peeps can't swim. So me and Cheryl's gonna teach y'all how to swim. Oh, anyway, write the Spanish word for anything on a 3x5 note card. Then put it by that object. Every time you approach it, repeat the word. Baña. Baña. But hey, Paul, I hope all is well. This health journey is so tough. I just did 30 minutes on the treadmill. It is, it's hard. But when you get there, it don't take a whole lot to maintain it. So, Vicky, Retro Queen Bee Art is in the house. Hello, Vicky. How are you doing? Way to go, Red. Yes. So, Bellip said, so just do what I suggested and write them on cards. Justin saying hi to Mike. Paula saying hi to Mike. Red Room TV. I used to know how, but there's a story behind that. Used to know how to do what, Red? Oh, some more Spanish. So, Mike saying hello to Justin Laura. It was finally 75 today. I know, boring to most, but huge dopamine hit. Yes, 75. Wow. That's great. Is that French, Belt Loop? Miss them. It was nice and warm in Indiana today. How to swim. Oh, that's right. Used to know how, but there's a story behind that. There's always a story, Red. There's always a story. And man, have I heard some stories. Justin said, Debbie Sue, is it okay if I call you Buddy Sue? Oh, Belt Loop, it costs very little for the cards, but it is then associated with that item, then the brain isn't trying to translate. Oh. Lori said M, Reds, Justin, Belt Loop, Spanish. The spelling may be a bit off. Red, it's easier for me to speak it than spell it. Miss M said, my story might scare people away. Justin said, Lori girl. Simply Debbie Sue said, of course, buddy, Justin Powell. You know, Miss M, you'd be surprised. We all have stories. You know, everyone has stories. There's just those that talk about them and those that don't. And me being a counselor, 20-something years, I've heard a lot. Oh, spell checkers on computers, isn't that the truth? Still, I still have to look up words on my phone. So Red said, yes, it's a real story. I used to swim very well, but something traumatized me. One day the story will be told. Well, you'll have to let me know when you're telling it because I want to hear it. So, okay, Miss M. I am Miss M now, folks. Bell Loop. Now I'd like to hear it, Miss M. Red Room. I was just playing Gary. Thanks, Buddy Sue. Love you. Miss M. Okay, I'll tell my story one day. Yeah, might start with one person. Just one. You know. I've told some stuff on my YouTube channel. I just didn't think, I don't know. There's a couple of things on there I never really talked about publicly ever. Some things I do. I speak. I speak and I tell my story. And, you know, I don't tell the smutty details. You can tell people the bank was robbed. You don't have to tell them what the getaway car was, what kind of gun you used. And so you can certainly tell me, Miss M. We might have to just do that. So, tea time. Vicky said it's tea time. So, Belt Loop's asking you, Gary's asking you how you are, Reds. You robbed a bank, Rhonda? I sure did. I ran away from home. Oh, Miss M said, tea. I love sweet tea. I do too, but I don't drink sweet tea anymore. If I drink tea, I drink decaf, unsweet. Kind of boring, isn't it? So we don't tell that story, Reds. So, you know, there's some things in my past. So that's the story for the after party. You are right, Mr. Belt Loop. You had a wild past. Me too, Miss M. So when Rhonda's good and liquored up. I can't drink a whole lot. It don't take much for me. One margarita and I'm good to go. So, but, yeah. All right. Yes, Justin, I've seen Miss Dora Girl in Bali. I think she is home. Um, Belt Loop said, so you're saying you're a cheap date? JK, of course. I am, you know? Chill with coconut for me, said Vicky. So Debbie Sue said, hi, Vicky, Miss M. You guys wouldn't believe me if I told you that my grandpa was famous at one point in time. I don't know. She's back home and back to work, Dora. You want to be in Bali. Me too. I would love to go to Bali. So Miss M, Paula wants to know what he was famous for. So D.B. Cooper. Who's D.B. Cooper? D.B. Cooper must not be too famous for music. Oh, that's interesting, Miss M. Yeah, for music. Red said, Paula, dig for the receipts. He was on the Grand Ole Opry. That's cool. Look up B.D. Cooper. B.D. Cooper. All right. We will do that. Who is B.D. Cooper? Hijack Northwest. Oh. He skyjacked, right? Bank robbery. No, he's best known. It was the alias of an unidentified man who hijacked Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. Now we want. Inquiring minds wanted to know. So now we know. He hijacked Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. So, yep. About skyjacking after a robbery. Miss M said, oh my. Justin said, sorry, I didn't say hi to Miss M. So, hi, Miss M. Awesome M. Oh, he jumped out of the plane and was never found? Did he jump out of it when it was like way up in the air? So Vicky said Cooper is famous in Washington State. Well, you learn something new every day, right? So they have evidence, though. The FBI was a dazzling piece of evidence may finally end the mystery of D.B. Cooper's identity. So, how about that? Explore the mystery. All right. The boys from Indiana. So Philip said, yep, crazy story. Yes, when it was in the air. Huh. Maybe it's just because you're a cop. Could be. So Miss M's grandpa's band was called the Boys from Indiana. So Philip said, my father was raised in Indiana. Justin said, not much, Philip. So interesting facts. Interesting facts. So, anyway, so we went over the hour just a little bit. You tend to talk several conversations at one time. I hope it's not confusing. Miss M said, well, I'm going to go. Don't rob a bank, Rhonda. I won't. I won't jump out of a plane out of the air either. Your brain bounces in lots of directions at one time. So, yes, I have a busy brain, but I've kind of learned to reel it in a little bit. So, are you taking notes, Reds, so you can have some receipts on us later? Anyway, I am going to end this live. I so appreciate y'all joining me tonight. And y'all have a great rest of the week. I love all of you. And bye. Remember, be you on purpose. So, bye.